I mean, I should go over there, right? So you can make
Peace,
call.
everyone. How you doing? Welcome to Black Intelligentsia. I got my sister here with me. We've been having problems, so we don't want to mess with time and stuff. So we have to basically do this hangout from another hangout. So without further ado, here go my sister right here. How you doing, sister?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for this opportunity to just come out and just speak about different things that's impacting our community and how we can actually just shift in our mindset so that we grow individually and then collectively as a community. You know, I don't know, just to give you a little bit about my background, if you don't mind. I'm a scientist, a double scientist, and the timing could not be more perfect with Katherine Johnson and the movie that was just recently released, Hidden Figures. Because now a lot of people, and it's a good thing because a lot of people are starting to gravitate towards the science fields. So that includes even technology, engineering, and math, and we know of it as. And for me, it's just ironic because just recently I witnessed a rocket launch, and that was one of the things that I've always wanted to do. So now I have my NASA jacket that I love to wear, and a lot of people, it's drawn a lot of attention. And so now I do a lot of different things, and one is I'm an international speaker, and my topic is mostly about the science to success. So it's just perfect timing with everything that is going on. So it's just a brief history of just a little bit about my background, and one of the things that I've always wanted to do was to be able to retire. And what does that mean? It doesn't mean that once you retire, you do nothing. But it means that now I'm able to do what I want to do when I want to do it, with who I want to do it with and for how long I want to do it. And that's what I've always said. I've even made that statement even when I was an undergrad. So, over the last 2 or 3 years, I started working with another company. I started building a business on the side so that I could position myself to be able to do that. And we can talk a little bit more about what that opportunity was, but now that's what I do. So now I am able to travel and impart knowledge and inspire people from different countries, from even here in the U.S. And it's a blessing to be able to do that because as it's so many different things that are happening. And people just need to be inspired. They need to be uplifted. They need to be motivated. They need to know that any and everything is possible. But first, it has to start with your mindset. And I think that's the huge piece. That's the biggest piece, bigger than anything else. Just wanna chase the money, and you need that. Trust me, you can't do anything because you have to eat, and you have bills to pay. But in order for you to get to the place that you want to be in life, you have to become that. There are some challenges, some trials, some things that have to test you to see if you can even measure up to that. So even like being a doctor, there are certain classes that you cannot skip to become a doctor, right? So in that, I feel the same way when people start talking about money and what they want to do, and I just want to make a lot of money, and it's like, but you have to understand, you have to become something. Your mindset have to be in a certain place for you to even attract that which you think that you deserve. And so when I start talking about the science to success, that is what it is embedded in. You have to become something, and you become that by reading and expanding your mind and being around people who are also going in the same direction, who are also winners.
So how have you been doing that lately? I'm friends with you on Facebook and around, and I see you making your motivational videos when you're going to the gym and everything. So could you help them out with a little bit of the mindset you have to be in?
Oh man, where do I start? Do I have enough time? Let's talk about where your mindset has to be. I was just sitting here recently, just actually earlier today, talking to some sisters in the office, and we were talking about I mean, it's just so many pieces and so many facets. It's about your self-talk. You know, what do you tell yourself? What do you surround yourself with? Who do you surround yourself with? What do you read? What do you put in your brain? You know, how do you treat your body? How do you view your own temple? You know, because all of this affects what you do. It affects how you think. It affects what you're able to accomplish. So when you start to say, you know what, I want to be different, because you know, one thing for sure, you don't know what you don't know. There is that part, and when you start to open up and you start to realize that there are some things that I don't know, there are some things that I need to grow into, there's some things that I need to learn, you become open, you become receptive, and the universe will start to send things to you. Your creator will start to send things your way when you are open to becoming something more. But you have to first realize that I have to become something. You have to first start to think and realize that if I was already if I had what I needed already, if I was already where I wanted to be, then I wouldn't. Where's room for growth? So you have to first realize that for you to become something else, you have to read. You have to expand your mind. If I hope that's making sense.
Yeah. How much
you
of
have
the
to expand
statement?
your mind. You have to.
How much of that statement, know thyself, it's a part of that?
Oh man. You have to know. You have to not so much know exactly what it is that you don't know, but you have to realize that you don't know everything. And when you realize that, you open up other avenues. You become receptive to receive. Um, everything you become receptive to realize that although you there are things that you know that you can impart in other people, there are things that other people know that they can impart in you. But if you're not open to that, if you're not receptive to that, if you think that you've already arrived, or you know everything, then most times if somebody comes and they even try to say something to you that will help take your life to another level or help elevate you, sometimes you'll block that, because you'll always be combative. You'll always come back with a statement like, or have the mindset of, what make you think that you could tell me that? Or, you know, how do you know? You know, it's always something that people will come back. And you see it all the time. Not so much, you know, you see it, but we all see it. You know, you have somebody that's just not receptive to change. And so first, you have to know yourself to know what it is. You know that there are things that you don't know. And when you open up to that, if somebody come and they have something that could actually help take your life to another level, you're like, okay, I can see how that can make sense, because now you're ready to receive. But if you don't already know, if you don't already realize that you don't know certain things, you start to shut down.
Okay.
When you start to shut down, you can't, nothing else can enter.
You said STEM. Okay. Explain that to people that may not know what STEM is.
STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math, and it's pretty much everything that governs what we do. It surrounds everything that we do. It's all about just creating, and that's what all of it. Math is everything is built upon that. That's my background. I have a minor in math. I have my bachelor's is in physics, and I really had to become strong in math. And to be honest with you, in elementary school, that wasn't one of my strong suits. Around sixth grade, I just thought that my excuse was the teacher didn't like me. But I had to realize that there was a concept that I didn't understand, and it wasn't until I realized that math is everywhere, and I will need it. And there was no room for excuses, because even in sixth grade, when I realized that I didn't understand and I made excuses, people do it all the time. I had to sit back and think about the fact that come seventh grade, I would need this information in eighth grade, and every year expounded upon that, going all the way through college. So I just kind of buckled down, and I made up in my mind that I needed to understand it. I needed to do whatever it was that I needed to do. If that meant more reading, I needed to do it. And more studying, I needed to do it, because math wasn't going away. So when I became very strong in math and started to even start to teach my peers, almost like a trainer, I became like a student teacher, at an early age, to just show people, because I understood it. And sometimes when I could listen to somebody, like even my peers, if they're talking about a topic, I can see where it is that they don't understand. So I could bring it down to their level in order to take them up to where they're trying to go. And even using math concepts to do that. So STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. It's everything. It's everywhere.
So what current STEM projects are you involved in and stuff. Because I see a picture with you and Obama on your page and stuff, so it looked like you met Obama, and he was dealing with a lot with the technology of solar panels and stuff. So I don't know if you into that, but what STEM fields are you currently in and dealing with in companies and individuals?
Well, right now, I'm doing my main focus is continuing to build the business that I told you about, and the other thing is my international speaking. But when I was really heavy in the field, I recently retired, but when I was working, I did a lot with nuclear power plants and geospatial analysis. And basically what that is, that's the science behind navigation systems. So if you were to take it back to the 1940s, when Katherine Johnson was working at NASA, it would be that technology. It would be the handwritten technology they used because she was the computer. Okay, if you understand the story, she was the computer. So now it's using that same concept, but using maps and using programming in the system to be able to.
Oh, whoa! They said I left the call. Let me get back over there. I ain't liking this, people. I ain't liking this. We might have to do this again, but I ain't liking this. They mess with my phone call. What the? I ain't left no call. Let me get back over here to Google. I guess they threw me out of the that hangout. They threw me off of Google. Come on, man. He tripping. I didn't even hang up my Gmail to make them do it. We're gonna have to get the sister on here and prepare for this more. We just trying to make it happen, and that's what's happening now. And trying to make something happen, it does that, So I'm getting back on the call. All right, she done fell off now. It threw her off. I'm the only one here. And we just gonna deal with the audio people and let that be it. I don't know what's going on. But as you see, I'm bringing new people to the stage and trying to bring new discourse out there, people. That's what we got to do. We got to try to help other people make it. You know what I'm saying? So let me hang up and hit that number back and let it call her so she can join. I don't know what happened. Matter of fact, I'm gonna call this show. I'm gonna just say peace. And
hey.
Yeah, we fell off. I feel like really calling the show and just allowing for us to get a better date so we could get on here together and really you can show your face and people can see you and do it. What you think about that?
That's cool. That's cool. Oh, we could do more than one. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. I'm available.
All right. So
unless I'm traveling.
Yeah. Okay. So they still listening to us. We live. So, give them a little something what they, whistle with. But what day would you think would be good? I know you got to take care of other business and stuff. So
I think I'm pretty open because even if I am traveling, depending on what the situation is, sometimes I could still get on the call. I can still take care of other business. But like yesterday, it was an all-day event. There's no way that I could have done anything. But next week, do I have anything next week? No. So if you want to do, what days are the best for your audience?
Me is Tuesday and Thursday. I'm working right now. I'm trying to get to where I don't have to do the job thing. I can retire from manual labor. But Yeah, Tuesday and Thursday. The weekend's always good, but I ain't, but I understand you got other things you have to take care of. I'm not trying to talk about them or nothing. So, but
So if you want to do, we could do next Tuesday. What's okay? Today's Thursday. We could do next Tuesday.
okay. And in between, if you got time, we just do a trial run and see if we can get on the same hangout at the same time.
Okay, perfect.
And no, like I said, I hear you talking, but I ain't even realized she was into all of that and what all you do. So, I mean, already sparked my interest to say, okay, let's get in more detail with this conversation.
Okay, cool. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. Because a lot of things that people want to do, they just don't know how to go about doing it. And a lot of it, like you said, you want to retire and come off of a 9 to 5. That's something that I've done. So I could talk to people about that. Some people want to be able to talk to the kids and get them more interested in science, technology, engineering, and math. I come out of that field. I understand the mindset that goes into what is necessary in order for you to be successful in those areas. So,
well, it's the current conversation that's going on between me and my buddy and a handful of other people. His name Digital Pit Boss. He didn't start speaking more about STEM and stuff. So when you said it, I was like, okay, like just like you said, everything just lined up perfectly. He actually just got his channel flagged because he played the movie Hidden Fingers. You know what I'm saying? And they flagged his channel so he couldn't go live. So I mean, more than what or probably realize we in syncopating all of this is becoming synchronized. So I didn't even know to what degree. So
we do, and that's why a lot of time you. That's why when you're talking about know yourself, and it's all about the mindset. Because once you realize that, and you realize that what you say will come to life, you can bring it to fruition. You have to watch the things that you say because it will show up. It will show up because the universe doesn't know the difference between what it is that you want, what you don't want. Once it comes out of your mouth, it's almost like you calling it to you. You see what I'm saying? So,
and dealing with the Bible is what you bind, I bind. What you loose, I loosen. The words of your mouth bind and loose things.
Exactly. I mean, they say it's like a rudder on a boat. It's small, but if whatever comes out of it, it steers your life. It steers your life. So when you hear people talk about themselves or say, I'll always be broke, or all these things, bad things always happen to me, it's the story of my life. You speaking it. You claiming it, you owning it, you making it yours. You have to watch that. But those are little secrets. It's little, but it's yet big. It's little, and people, it's so subtle that they don't even realize it. And that's why when people don't know, you don't know what you don't know. Even my son, he's 4. He was sitting there, he was like, you know what, Mom, I'm going to have a bad dream. And I said, if you say you're going to have a bad dream, you're going to have a bad dream. He said, so if I say I'm going to have a good dream, I'll have a good dream. I said, exactly. I said, so say, I will have a good dream. He's like, I will have a good dream. I said, see? And even the way that he said it even made it seem like he understood that, and it came out in a positive way. Like, I'm going to have a good dream. I'm like, see? Doesn't that feel good? He's like, yeah, Mommy. And I'm like, even at a small age, you have to teach these babies. Because then when they get older, you don't have to untrain that mindset. You have to start to impart that in them very early on, so that by the time he's 6, everything that comes out of his mouth is all positive affirmations. I am this, I am that, I am going to be successful, I will get an A on my exam. Like, you have to enforce that.
Oh man, your picture even showing better now. Let me show it. We're gonna sit here and talk a little bit, but we're gonna do another show another time. We're gonna talk as long as you got time. I ain't trying to take all your time, but man, the picture looks so good. I gotta come over here, put the picture up. Okay, y'all. That's you see who I'm talking to. But that's what it is, sister. I mean, like I said, I watch your videos and I see you a lot of inspiration to a lot of the people that follow you on your friend list over there. And that's why I shot it out, because you was like, what was that when we first met? You was like, well, why you want me on your show or whatever, or something like that. And I was like, man, I see you giving out good information.
Thank you.
And the people need it. The people need it. Where are you currently located for us where you live? Chicago, right?
Yeah. Yep, I'm in Chicago.
So what you think about the city and the turmoil that it's in with the stigma, Chirac on it, you know, people making a lot of money off of, you know, the negativity and stuff like you said up there and what they speaking up there?
Man, man. I mean, you know, I could speak on this issue because I was raised, you know, in the heart of the city. And if you know anything about the city, I was right off of 79th Street. Right off of 79th Street. Some people call it the Nine. And so I'm no stranger to tumultuous environments. You know, I wasn't raised, my household was at peace, but at the same time, if I wanted to get in some trouble, I knew where to find it. It wasn't far from me. I could walk to it. And, you know, even some of my, you know, buddies, you know, because you know, there's even scientifically, I always relate everything back to it because there's a law that's Tobler's law, and it's a law. And if you know anything about laws, they're pretty much set. There's no breaking that. And it says that those things that are in close vicinity are similar to those things that are in close vicinity. So even with people, it's the same thing. So that was my environment. That's what I was surrounded with. That's what I went to school with. But there was always something that was ingrained in the back of my mind because I was always around positive influences. My parents, even, you know, my teachers, and, you know, even at the church. And, you know, I know some people had their different views about the church, but I had a foundation, and that's what you have to give kids. You have to give people, anybody, you know, people like structure. So, you know, I had a foundation, and I had different theories and, you know, different morals to lean back on when, you know, when I would see things that weren't always like the most positive things. I always had something to look back on and say, okay, this what my mother was talking about. This is what my father was talking about. So I had something that would ground me versus seeing it and getting excited, thinking that I've run up on something that is cool, you know. So I always had that in the back, but I wasn't guarded from it either. So I had both, the best of both worlds. So that as I got older, if I saw it, I didn't, you know, just feel like, ooh, you know, I want to be part of that life. So I would hear I would hear from my parents to say that, you know, if you follow this path, this is probably where you would turn out. So when I would be exposed to it, I would say, oh, okay, this is what they meant. So I knew how to see it but avoid it. And so even going forward, you know, talking about what's happening in the city now, man, I mean, you know, so many people chasing so many rabbits. You got to understand, you have to take care of home first. And, you know, everybody is just out here trying to do them. You know, it's all in the music, it's the videos, it's all of that. Everybody, you know, I'm doing me. Hold up, wait, slow down, wait. You know, that's a selfish statement, and I get it. I mean, everybody, you should do you, but what does that mean? People take it out of context. And, you know, when I hear those type of songs, and I understand now that really to grow in life and to really have a real fulfillment, you have to be in service. And if you're doing service, you can't just do you. You follow what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, you know, I take care of my business. I'm not saying that I don't, but, you know, because I have to take care of me in order to take care of other people. But if you walk around with the mindset that, you know, and you hear songs, you know, forget you, I'm gonna do me. Wait, you know, because you singing that from a place of having to always do it by yourself. You know, and people just don't have the right support system. And then when you grow up in that environment where you feel like nobody really have your back, then it can take you in that mindset to make you feel like, you know, all of this is for me. I'm doing me. But everybody that I know that's very successful, they understand that if you're really gonna grow in life, you cannot do it alone. Because that's why we exist on this earth with other people, because there are certain gifts that you have that I don't have, certain things that I have that you don't have, that we all bring it together. We can do so much more together than we can apart. When you look at it like that, and then you see what's happening in the city, and especially in the inner city, it's a lot of that I have to do me attitude. And when you start to look at it like that, you shun a lot of people, and you start to shut down, and you become selfish, you become greedy, and all of that hoards violence.
Yeah. So what do you extrapolate all this stuff from? Because dealing with the STEM, who would you credit for that terminology or that mindset? Garvey, Booker T, or who do you deal with, like those type of things, black nationalism, Pan-Africanism, this and that, or what type of stuff you into?
You know what? It's man, that's a very deep question. Very deep question. I gonna in energy and information from different sources. I don't look at it like, I just look at one. I don't get my source of information come from a lot of different things because I have to make it my truth. So if in all of it ties together, you have to realize that all of this comes together in some kind of way, but you have to receive it the right way and make it real for you, because you have so many different things going on out here. You just have to watch it, but you have to how can I put this? When I say you have to know your truth, because I hear stuff from so many different directions. Trust me, and I could pick up even on people in people's spirit when they coming off way saying some things that I should probably be insulted by, but it's not a reflection of me, it's a reflection of them. So yes, there's information out here that, man, whatever you think you want to know, it's somebody out here that has studied something, either what you think you know and have some research to back it. So you really have to watch what you put in your head, period. So I don't care where it comes from, who it comes from. You have to look at it and say, what does this mean to me? How does this apply to me? And when you realize that, even, regardless of what you believe, whether you believe in God, you believe in Allah, you believe in Creator, whatever the case may be, you have to believe that all of this comes together. And if God is everything, then that means that you can't eliminate anything, because God is in everything. So when I get information, I don't just say I can only get it from one source. When I wake up in the morning, I'm like, okay, what do I need to get my information from today? Who do I need to avoid? Who do I need to be around? Because we can all learn from each other.
Yeah.
So I don't just, it's not just one source ever.
Yeah, I'm just asking, like, for STEM, the motivation from it, because I believe those individuals help bring about that whole thing in the black community. Maybe not worldwide, but a lot of people did glean from their information and their mindset of industrialized and stuff, with George Washington Carver and everything, with the peanut and everything. So I'm just trying to see, like, I know you educated and you know some things, but I'm just trying to see where it comes from, because a lot of people, I know me myself, I would wonder, like, where did you get the motivation, and what was you reading? What was you studying to push you further down this road you was traveling? Because in the movie, you see the young lady, I forget the name of her, Catherine. Yeah, that's it. And she was doing the math and everything, and they was like, well, she's gifted, she's smart. Well, you need to send her to this school and send her there and take her through the stages of getting to where she was. So, you said, 79th and this and that. What was it that helped push you in that direction?
The very first, when initially, like, everybody kind of have, I think most people have a liking for math. I really do, at an early age, but then somewhere along the way, it becomes tough. And sometimes you don't have the right support to help get you over that leap. So for me, I just dived more into my books, right? So that was right around 6th grade. I wanted to know it. I wanted to know it. I didn't want the excuse of saying it was too hard. So I started to just get the concepts under my belt. I started to understand, what did that mean? And I questioned a lot. I had a lot of questions in class. And most of my professors, once I went on to college, it was, it came to, even in high school. And when I would have a question, I raised my hand. They said, of course, Kara, I have a question. What's your question today? And I'm like, that's why I'm here. I'm here to learn. I'm here to challenge it. If this is to be true, why can't I question it? You know, I should be able to question it until it become real for me. So I think that attitude, that mindset of not feeling like, oh, it's just too hard, I did not let that stop me. I had 1 year of that. 1 year of saying it was too hard, and I made excuses. I searched for excuses to excuse myself for not understanding the concept. And one of those excuses, like I mentioned before, was my teacher didn't like me. And I think a lot of kids use that, and they start to act up in class. And, you know, it must have been something said by somebody at some point that brought me around to the idea of me saying, no, I need to get this. And I eventually transferred out of that school because I felt like some of it were distractions from my friends. It wasn't them, it was allowing the distraction. So once I transferred out, I made up in my mind that if I'm going to get this, I have to realize what's important now. And I had enough sense at that age to start to eliminate things that would take me off course. So then I went on to high school, and you know, I still had my friends, and a lot of my friends, I remember being in the lunchroom, and everybody got their report cards. And, you know, I would just be, I didn't talk about my grades. I didn't talk about me having to study. I just didn't talk about it. So the group that I would hang out with at lunch, you know, everybody was like, man, I got my grades. You know, everybody pulled out their grades. And it was like, Carol, where's your report card? And I was like, you really want to see my report card? Yeah, we want to see it. So I pull out my report card, and I had straight A's. They're like, man, this girl's smart, blah, blah, blah. And I had physics and calculus and all this stuff. And I was like, what did you think? And most of them were just like, I didn't know you were that smart. I'm like, what? So it was just kind of funny because it wasn't something that I bragged about or anything, but I just did the work that was necessary to get me to where I wanted to be.
So
give me one quick second.
Okay.
One quick second.
You good? They don't allow you to mute it, so I'm gonna mute it over. I think this is our first like interview on Google Hangout and different stuff. We go get there, people. We gotta get the information out of her that, you know, that's helpful to you all. Might even have to get Pit Boss and a couple of the brothers and sisters over, Black Becky the Techie and different stuff, and we just do a panel or something. I don't know, but we gonna see what she got to offer and what we can, you know, extract from that and help you all.
Thank you.
So as you can see, she in a place of business and everything, and she taking care of business. So
I'm downstairs. All right.
Okay. Sound like she back.
I'm back. My bad. Okay.
No, I was just saying, this your first Google Hangout?
It is. Being on this side of it, you know, I've listened to other people hangouts, but not me being interviewed.
Yeah. So like I said, we winging it right now. I'm just talking. I ain't never talked to you before, so you know, people just hearing.
No, that's all good. That's all good. But that's what the whole idea and the energy and everything, the positivity and wanting more. You know, I would, you know, you hear these things, and especially, you know, that's why it's so important for these kids to hear it. It's so important for these kids to hear it because it was something that I heard. We used to have people to come in as motivational speakers when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember someone talking about you have to almost have blinders on when you want to be focused. You can't look to your left, almost like a horse. You can't look to your left, look to your right. You have to put those blinders on and, you know, stay focused. And I remember hearing that. I can't remember even who it was, but it was enough for me to understand that I need to stay focused if there's something that I want. So even at an early age. Mm-hmm.
When did you pick your career? When did you say this is what I wanted to be? Because I mean, you're talking about something that the average African American don't aspire to be.
I like it. Yeah. So I started out wanting to be an attorney because that's, you know, you hear about being a lawyer. And so I started out and I went all the way through elementary school wanting to be an attorney. And when I was in high school, I watched the movie Devil's Advocate. And I was just so overwhelmed by what was happening in the movie with what you had to do, and not so much that every attorney falls into this category, but I'm like, man, I have to almost give up my soul, especially if you a defense attorney. So I started to second guess that, and I'm like, well, I like math. So I was talking to one of my teachers, and they said, well, go for engineering. So then when I went to undergrad, when I went to college, I was like, okay, well, I want to be an engineer. And it was only because of the math aspect. So I just became real strong in math. And then I was like, well, where do I go from here? And just in the process, and sometimes that's why you have to tell people, you have to start somewhere. Just get started. Go in the direction you think you want to go, because after a while, other opportunities and other things that are attached to that will come to you. So one of my professors said, well, I do research and I travel. And over the summer, I'm doing a research opportunity. I have a grant if you want to get paid to come and do research with me. You're pretty strong in math. And, just see if you like doing physics. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Sound good. Get paid to do research, get paid to learn, basically. And so I did that. And I remember going for the summer down in the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa. And I did the research and, got my stipend. And I thought it was really cool. So he said, well, you know what? Maybe you should, if you have a strong foundation in physics, it'll make you a better engineer. And I said, okay, that's fine. So then I got my degree in physics. Now, from there, when I graduated from there, I took a year off. And sometimes people feel like if I take a year off, I won't go back. But I knew myself, I needed that break, but I also knew that I would go back. So I took a year off, and then I went to grad school in engineering. And I did biomedical. I did a lot of research with different professors, but none of them did research that I was really interested in. So I remember my last year in undergrad, someone talking about geospatial analysis. And so I went over to that department while I was in grad school. And the professor, who was also the advisor of the department, said, well, you have a strong math background, and I'm doing a lot with algorithm development. I'm like, algorithm development? What? So he sent me out with all these different articles to read, and I'm like, it just looked like Chinese arithmetic for real.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that, because everybody try to talk about it with the internet and everything, algorithms and stuff, and I don't think they know anything. You sound like you know. Tell us a little bit of just a little basic knowledge of what that is.
The algorithm that we came up with was looking at patterns, geospatial patterns. So, like the research that we did, we looked at people that contracted, so people that had breast cancer, right? Looking at different things that were common in certain communities that could attribute to women contracting breast cancer, So we looked at like different industrial facilities that were in their surroundings. We looked at how old were the housing units, and we started to find these clusters that were common with women that were in certain areas that had breast cancer. So we it could be attributed to the age of the homes, because sometimes you have like different things in the environment in the house, old paint, old asbestos, all these different things. So we start to look at these clusters, these patterns. So we put them in these algorithms that found actual the patterns or similarities. So we will run the data. Data is everything. So you hear a lot about big data. You hear a lot of people talk about that, because with so much technology, you can get data from everything. You go to the supermarket, they bring out data. So we were big on just getting data. That was all we wanted, was just data, because from data, you can find out a whole lot of stuff. So we would look at this data and start to just pull apart different patterns, but it was our algorithms that helped us to see these patterns. And some of them were divided, and the algorithms that we use, they're simple equations. They're simple equations, but they have a geospatial component, like the X, the Y, the Z, and we will put in like the coordinates for where people were located, and that was the start. So we would use a software for geographic information systems, GIS systems, and put the addresses in just to plot the addresses. And then we start to add other factors, like the age of the housing unit. So that's more data, right? So we'll say, well, you know, and all of this. So we'll have information about the women, and then we'll have their addresses, we'll have their ages, we'll have all these different things, and then we'll pull out how many of these women are within the age group between 30 to 45. And then it'll start to highlight these women that were that had breast cancer that was in that age group. So then we'll see, were there any patterns in that? And then we'll go back and say, okay, for the women that was in that age group, where did they live? And then we'll see, okay, wow, okay, we get a pattern from this. Like most of these women live in the same area. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah. So an algorithm is a basic calculation of like things that.
There you go. Yep. And it just depends. And so what we always did with algorithm is what is your question? Because you can ask anything. You know, we could have looked to see with that same data how many of those women were single parents. You know, it was just so much data, and it's just.
Or had babies during this time frame. Oh, I get you now. A lot of people just they speak about it, but they never explain it. So I'm asking it. I thought I had an idea of it, but you helping me understand it better now.
Yeah. And when you start to see these patterns and see these different things, it make you more interested. Because then you find out crime statistics and crime analysis and, you know, all these different things, and just to see what are patterns. And, you know, it's so many different ways. They use it in market research to know where to put, let's say, the next Walgreens. All right, they look at demographics because the people that most of the time shop at like Target, they'll be, you know, between the age group of 28 and 45, you know, so then they start to look at the demographics and look at the housing, look at the census data to see, well, where are most of these people? And they will pop Target right smack in the middle. Because you have communities, sometimes you have communities that are tailored towards certain age groups. So, you know, if you have an area that is primarily like over the age of, let's say, 50 and up, if they know that that's not their demographic, they won't put a target there. But they use that same algorithm type formula to figure out, you know, for market research, where do we put the next one? Because it's all about optimizing what you're trying to do. So, you know, it always goes back to what's the question? You know, when people used to come to me when I was working, they'll say, you know, I want you to give me a map. I want you to, you know, plot something for me. I'm like, well, what are you trying to figure out? You know, I have data. Like, what do you want to know? And they're just like, I don't know. I just want to see, you know, some interesting stuff on the map. And I'm like, man, you're not about to take me down that rabbit hole because it's just too much information. You know, so excuse me. It's just so much out there, man, and it becomes exciting. And when I get a chance to share information with people about it, because I understand it and I get it, you know, I think even more important than that is the ability to communicate it.
So, how hard was the field for you being you know, just cliche questions, being a Black woman and, you know, for us being somewhat attractive, this, that. I mean, how hard is it to deal in that field like that?
As far as just, you know, as far as being a Black woman in the sciences?
Yeah, and stuff like that, and whatever, you know, the type of individuals you're around and what type of environment is that. Most people ain't never been in it, so
it's it could be challenging, but you have to know who you are. It's almost like what President Obama had to deal with while he was in office. You enter a room with some people that, you know, they probably never really been around, you know, physically in a room with somebody that's Black or African American, and or what they see is whatever they understand about Black people is what they see on television or what somebody else has told them. And these are environments that I've been in. And you know, you just have to know who you are, and, you know, just realize that some people they don't know, and they don't know what they don't know. And sometimes people, you know, the way they feel is so heavily ingrained in their DNA and in their mindset that they think they know. So you have to know who you are, and you can't let somebody pull you off your square because they say something crazy or do something that's uncouth. You just have to understand what why you're there. What's your purpose for being there, and just understand that they're the ignorant one, not you, and you don't allow somebody else to pull you to their level. So I used to run into a whole lot of situations, not just African American, but as a woman.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was always, but I always just felt like I had to represent, and I had to come with class. I had to, I had to know my stuff. Almost like Katherine Johnson. There's no denying that.
Well, let's relate that to the movie. I hate to cut you. Let's relate that to the movie, because we don't want to do the spoilers for anybody that ain't watched it. But can you relate that? Because what like I said, no spoilers if we can. What scenes in there really touch you as a viewer? So those that haven't seen the movie, so they get a little inspired, go out and make sure that it stay #1.
Well, you know what? Honestly, I've been on the road twice since that movie came out last week. I was in the Bahamas when it was first released, and I had to do a lot of radio interviews and television interviews, and I didn't get a chance to see it out there. And then when I came back, I was spending time with my son, and then we left and went out to Dallas, and now I'm back. So now I plan on going to see it. But what I know about it are the interviews that they had with Katherine Johnson themselves, where, from her mouth, how her experience was. So I haven't seen the movie to exactly, talk about any particular scene, but I know her story from different interviews, because, when I'm up at night, I'm online looking at everything. So I watch so many of her interviews, and I just have so much respect for her. And, when she talk about they wouldn't proceed unless they had her approval with the calculations. And I've been in similar situations where they're like, hey, well, what does Kara have? Or, let's check Kara's work. Let's look and see, what it is that, to look like, and it's honoring, it's humbling, because I know I put in the work. When I go out there to represent, I don't look at it like I'm just representing me. I'm representing anybody who, and, I know that it's not always glorious what we see on television. And so when people see me, a lot of times when I would have to go and present my research, whether it was here in the U.S. or overseas, to some people, they kind of have this look, but I know where that comes from. So I don't look at it like it's towards me, because you don't know me. So I didn't take it personal to say that it's towards me, because I'm a soul, I'm a spirit inside of this. So you don't know me. You looking at based on what you think about people that look like me. So once they get a chance to talk to me, I could see that shift, and it happens. It even happened yesterday. Talking to some people, they were like, I'm really proud. It's really good to know you, and to see the message that you bring to it was like they were struggling with the right words to say, because they didn't want to offend me, but I knew where they were going with it. It was kind of along the lines, to be a representative of my community, to have something positive come out of my community. I got it, and I get it. So, but I don't become defensive, because it's not about that. I'm glad that I'm able to enlighten you, is how I look at it. So, and I'm sure that was the same way with her. And if you just listen to people like her that have, and I mean, she dealt with this back then, so it was a lot heavier.
Mm-hmm.
And so I look at that, and if you see how they phrase their answers and how they come back, you always have to keep your composure. You have to keep your composure, because sometimes people just want to pull you off your square and say, "See,
well, not to see the movie. You relating to like the scene in the movie big time. I seen it, I seen it the way we see things, but I seen it in I mean,
you got low for some reason. I wonder if it's my connection.
Yeah, I mean, your whole connection changed up your whole now, but it's all good. The people hear us. I don't know if you can hear me.
Oh no. Let me see. Wait. Is that better?
I mean, it's good on this end. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's just low.
Okay. Something happened between, it was like a little buzz and it was amped up, and then all of a sudden it popped and it was It's
You
mild
know
mannered
what?
now. Somebody tried to call you.
Yeah, somebody called me, and when I hit reject, it kind of brought the volume down.
All right, can you hear me though? Nah, it's messing up the screen too. Well, for the most part, we can cut this one off. You know, it give people a chance and stuff to catch you and stuff. We'll shoot for next Tuesday. You know, just hit me up with a time or whatever. And in between time, hopefully we could just you know, shoot for you to be able to make it in the same hangout with me. So, you know.
I know, right?
Yeah. I don't know what happened, but maybe they know what you got to say is strong and powerful. Well, let me ask you, when you go out and you go to the Bahamas and stuff, you doing motivational speeches or you enlighten them about what?
With Bahamas, it was a special situation. I'm trying to see if I can make this.
We can hear you, so it's all good.
Okay. Because you know, just in October they had Hurricane Matthew, so they suffering from a lot of loss, property loss, damage. A lot of people are still recovering from that, and you know, after a couple of days of some people going without stuff, they kind of lose hope. So to go a couple of months without certain things and, you know, still trying to rebuild, sometimes you just need to have somebody else come in and just kind of give you an encouraging word, something to uplift your spirit and to just let you know that it's not what you have, it's who you are and how you show up and how you just maintain yourself and, you know, just keep your composure in the face of adversity. So with them having to suffer from so much, you know, they were so appreciative from us just being there. And I could have taken that whole conversation so many different ways. But you know, most of the time when I go out and speak, I feel the room. I have to know, you know, what is it that the people in this room need to hear from me, because I want to make sure that I'm not just talking and my message is falling on deaf ears. I want to make sure that my message is reaching those that are in that room, because what's from the heart reaches the heart, you know, and to have people to come up afterwards, you know, and just, you know, be so grateful that you came to impart, you know, because they're grateful, but I'm grateful too, because they don't have to listen to me. You know, who am I? You know, I just want to make sure that I do the work that God called me to do. Regardless of if it's 2 people, if it's 2,000 people, I want to make sure that I say what needs to be said. So, you know, while we were over there, that's really being poured out of me to just help uplift them and just let them know it's gonna be okay. You know, and sometimes that's all a person want to hear is somebody who can see it from the outside. Sometimes when you're in a picture, when you in the frame, you can't really see it. All you know is your stuff is just bad. And when you have somebody else that can say things gonna be all right, you know, a lot of people just kind of give you that look like, you're right. You're right. And that's just what they want to hear. And that, you know, that they just, it's all here, even though regardless of what you see, because sometimes what you see right in front of you, if you let that take you off course, it can set you back. So you have to realize that it's not just what you see, that sometimes things happen to give you a lesson, to, you know, take you to a different place. So don't focus on right now what's right in front of you. Sometimes things have to happen to get other things out of the way to take you to the next level. And for a lot of them, that's you know, that they see it like that, because now, you know, they're starting to rebuild. So now you're gonna get better than what you had.
Yeah.
And we have to look at it like that. You know, it's, you know, sometimes you have to destroy to build back up.
So I
even with our own selves.
Yeah, I think that's what I would like to touch on and focus on in the next sit down. You know, the STEM and how the community really need it and what all do it presents for the community. You know, because I'm a big person into vocational skills, no matter what it is. Even when I deal with the Bible and they say the 5-fold ministry, I say that's different vocational skills. You know what I'm saying? There's 5 different skill levels and vocations that you gotta, you know, train in. So all of them work together too. So now once you learn what it is and how it interconnect with the other, then you understand how different parts of the body or different parts of the organization or different parts of the, you know, unit works and how it, you know, share certain things. I don't think we as a people understand how, you know, we interconnect and how solidarity is supposed to be there and what we do and how the things we do should bring us closer together and then to interconnect.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, it's one body with many parts, right?
Yeah. So
even the Bible talk about that. So, you know, just like when you go to war, you have some people in the water, you know, that's your Marines. You have some people in the air, that's your Air Force. You have boots on the ground, your Army. So, you know, I mean, you have your Navy. They're in the water. You know, Marines are kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
But you have different people that have different combat missions, and that's what we got. And when you get that, you don't shun off anything. You just feel like we are all part of this together. You know, I don't take it lightly and ever, because I look at like whoever it is that I come in contact with is for a reason. It's for a purpose. And I don't look at it as a competition. I look at it as collaboration, you know, because you're not me, you know. And once people get that and you know who you are, then it becomes okay to be around anybody, you know, because it's always somebody that's better off, somebody worse off, but it doesn't even matter because it's all about just you becoming a better you. So, you know, when you start to look at life like that, man, you be so much better off and so much more happy.
Yeah. So I'm gonna let you go. I mean, it was just a pleasure to talk and get to know you a little bit better and what you're doing, how you know, the videos do one thing, but to talk to a person, just to talk and then to act is good. I love doing that. That's why I do what I do, you know. So
thank you.
I enjoyed the conversation. It ain't gonna show all that good on it and stuff. I might just put a flat picture up and then let people hear the audio. You know,
okay.
It is what it is. Like I said, hopefully sometime or another this weekend when you get some time, we'll coordinate and see if we can get in the same chat so we won't have problems Tuesday. Or we could do it early that Tuesday if you have time, depending on what time you're coming over. However you want to do it, it's all good. So
okay.
But I enjoyed the dialogue and everything. You know, it's inspirational to me. Watch the movie. When you watch the movie,
I will. Oh yeah.
When you watch the movie, you'll have much more to say about it. You know, it teared me up a little bit. I don't shed tears like that, but it, you know, it put an emotional thing. It like 4 or 5 great scenes in it. So when you watch it, you know, just pay attention to it. Maybe we'll tie that in too, because you know, the sister, the one. Let me see. It was one. That's Catherine. And what's the other two?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know their name either too. It left me. Catherine is a good name. I remember that for a certain reason. But anyway, one of them, she went off to be more of an engineer, I think. Catherine did the math, but she wasn't an engineer. She worked with, like you say, the algorithms, and she had to make sure that his landing was good. Went from a 0. I forget how they said that. I can't remember all of it like that. But the other one, she went to be an engineer. It was a Jewish man, and he was like, "Look, I'm a Jewish man, and I'm up here. I'm standing under this." And so you'll see it. When you see it, we'll talk about it. I got to familiarize myself with it because I'm like you. I stay up late at night, and I'll be watching stuff. Sometimes it watch me more than I watch it. Are you there? She done fell off. But anyway, people, we're gonna get off. You know, we ain't gonna stress it. I might just leave this up. It don't matter to me. The thing is, let people get the information. So with that said, I'm gonna say peace. We're gonna try to come back next Tuesday, be more exact with what we dealing with and everything. You know, like I said, time restraints and not being able to communicate properly over this thing. we'll do better the next time around. But with that said, I'm gonna say peace. Talk with y'all later. Peace. Talk with y'all later.